Geoffrey Holland.
Thank you. It's actually quite impressive to see this turnout. It sort of at least shows that you at least give due respect to the presenters, which is more than you can say when you look at parliamentary TV for the people who work in that end. So thank you for your time here. I'm here for two probably relatively small issues. I want to keep it simple. The two of them are the provincial council chambers and the old municipal buildings and the delay that's been put upon the repairing of those. And the other is the proposed saltwater pool at New Brighton, which... yeah, well, I'll speak to that. So basically, really, if you build a house, it's just a house. It only becomes a home when you put people in it. So this is about people. That's the very reason why buildings exist. If it wasn't for people, you wouldn't need this place. So I've told my little tale about my involvement with these two buildings, and I'm sure there are hundreds of other citizens who have their own similar little tales. They are a part of the fabric of Christchurch and have been for... longer than anybody here, I would strongly suggest. They are both visually stunning buildings. Well, they could be if they were repaired. They're a bit sad at the moment. They have a real history. They have a real association with Christchurch and the old architects of the early eras. And as I said in my submission, they provide a wonderful counterpoint from the stunningly modern buildings that we're getting now to where we came from. They're in the area that is very heavily populated by our citizens and by our tourists, with the square, the arts centre, the museum, the gardens, and we have these two really sad old structures in the middle. I'm saying, please don't delay the repair of these buildings. Give them back their people that they were built to house. Give them back their life. Okay, that's what I'll say on that. Now, the second one is the pool. Now, I noticed when I was digging in your website for these sorts of things, you do actually ask for suggestions about how to and whatnot. Well, I'm saying those buildings will cost money. Have I got the money for you? It's sitting down on a fund waiting to be turned into a saltwater pool at New Brighton. I do have an attachment to New Brighton. Leanne knows very well what my attachment to New Brighton is.
I do. Former neighbour.
And you're not an idiot. But as a kid, I was always at the beach. I remember climbing over the old pier that used to be at New Brighton. Well, it was a skeleton of the old pier when I was a kid. We were always at the beach. Both Nikki and I are old surf clubbies. We belong to the opposition from Mr East here, but that's all right. What he will be pleased to hear. Now that we're living where we are, his beach is now our most convenient beach, so we are now using your beach. And prior to the earthquake event, we did live in Bexley for some years, so I do feel an association with the eastern suburbs. We loved it in Bexley. We fitted in there, it was a bit odd, but we fitted in there like an old glove. It was a lovely wee area, and it is now looking really sad. We've got friends in South Shore. Every time it's raining and their tide comes in, their garage floods. You don't need to look very hard on the internet to find maps of flood risk, of tsunami risk, of what will happen when the sea level rises. It's quite a disturbing picture that gets painted. I know a certain person in America will disagree with me, but global warming is real. Sea levels will rise. I find him quite disturbing. The actual detail is, and this is what he keeps grasping, is, it's all bad science. It will, we don't know how much by when. Yeah. It's a very complex system, we don't know, but it will happen. Now, my concern is that if we spend a number of millions of dollars on a facility in New Brighton that will have a, 50-year, 100-year, 70-year lifespan. Kiwitu Park was pushing 50 and it was looking pretty good. I'm asking you people to just hold on for now, have a good look at where will the eastern suburbs be? 20 years, 50 years, perhaps even 100 years. And then, where could we locate a facility that really does require quite a large catchment population to make it viable? And then make the decision, once you've gone through that reasoning process of just what will the demands be for the lifespan of that facility. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying, yes, please do it, but let's make a fully informed decision. And as I said, money that we might save here in the short term could certainly be spent just down the road there in the short term. So thank you very much.
Look, thank you, Geoff, and I appreciate your comments. I just want to repeat something I said earlier in relation to the heritage buildings, the provincial council chambers. City municipal chambers, our city, Otautahi, our city, is another building in this category as well. So the provincial council chambers is governed by statute. So the city actually only is the owner of it by dint of an Act of Parliament. So it's got its own Act of Parliament, dates back to the early 1900s. Mm-hmm. There is a management process that sits in place under the statute, and the land is owned by the Department of Conservation. Mm-hmm. And of course it's a Category 1 heritage building nationally as well, because it is the last one nationally. Yes. But it's not a city building, it's a provincial building. It belongs to the region. So in terms of the additional funding that's required to get it fully restored, it seems to me that there is a far wider reach that we need to have in terms of how we can pay for that over a longer period of time. We've had a submission earlier on today to say to focus on the wooden parts of the building, which I agree that once you've got the wooden parts up and running, then you can move on. I've been talking to central government, to Heritage New Zealand and others about the possibility of changing the legislation so that we can actually have a trust in place. For some reason, when a trust is fundraising, it costs less to restore than otherwise. And we have had an approach, well, I've had an approach from some private developers who want to look at what the repair strategies and considerations around our city are as well. And so council staff are sharing that information. I mean, it's public information, so that they can consider a proposition that they might put to us. But we haven't decided to go down this track. I'm just saying that we've actually got to be smart about approaching some of these restoration projects. They are very expensive, but they also need wider public buy-in, and they're a great opportunity for telling the story of a great elements of our history. And you're so right that that a building, a house doesn't make a home. It's the people that do, and it's the same with these buildings. They don't respect our history unless they've got a current use. So what we use them for today will be important. So that was a very long and twisted way of me saying that it's on the radar, but we're looking at other ways that we can fund their restoration rather than looking for another project to diminish.
Okay, but it is an election year, so there might be possibilities there.
Very good. Thank you very much. It's very good to see you.
And I can assure you that all the work's been done on New Brighton capacity and longevity and everything else.
We're not too sure about the election.
We've done it.
Okay, just as a comment, I see no relevance of that.
But I don't want to open up an entire discussion around that today. But look, thank you very much. And thank you all very much, because as a result of everyone's attention, we have finished on time, and so I'm therefore going to adjourn the meeting until Saturday morning at 9 a.m. So Saturday morning 9 a.m. for another round of submissions, a full day. Thank you. Thank you.